You're still listening to the Africa Daily Show. It's 2:11 p.m. here with us on the Africa Daily Show. Now we'll be jumping into our discussion zone. And today I told you we're discussing skin colorism. And I already have Hafiz Gunu in the studio with me. Mamiaba, you've already heard from. I mean, she's not willing to buy chocolate for any of us, but she wants a box of donuts. So let's do well to prepare and then send the gifts away. I'd ask Hafiz, how's your weekend?
My weekend.
Yeah,
It was, I wouldn't say okay, but it
yeah.
was an eventful one. Yes,
Okay, but I
yes,
think the most important thing is all stakeholders involved are safe.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay, sure. Did you get chocolate from anybody?
From let's not go there.
Did you buy chocolate for anybody?
Yeah, let's not do that either. So
You see, Maud is shaking her head. It means she doesn't agree with you, or she still thinks she hasn't won you over into the court of love.
we'll see.
Okay, well, we'll be looking at colorism today. Now, because we're humans, one of the most important thing is we're visually inclined,
Okay.
and we tend to perceive things. How we see things determine how we perceive them and how we actually tend to relate with them. So it's so normal that you actually notice the color or the skin color of somebody. In a way, whether it's something that is imbibed in you or something you pick up, you tend to relate to people based on that sometimes. You tend to address people in certain ways based on their skin tone. You understand?
Mhm.
And I feel that, not that I feel, but there are so many issues arising out of the whole colorism subject. And I'm just going to throw you guys in the deep end by starting with you.
Okay, let's make something very clear. It's not something we are born with when it comes to seeing color and everything. It's something you learn. Okay, so let's just put that out of the way. But largely, I mean, colorism is simply discrimination or prejudice based on skin tone, typically among people of the same race. And so, if you are talking, say, the black community, that is just leveraging the lighter skin over, or how do I say, privileging? Sorry, not leveraging, privileging the lighter skin over the dark one. That's basically what colorism is about. And for colorism, it's not something that hasn't been around for a while now. It is something that has been around, and is an unfortunate byproduct of white supremacy, if I should put it that way. And at the individual level, we see behaviors that, for want of a better word, are not so nice to see. Persons discriminated simply because of their skin color, darker skin shade. That is, you have persons that will definitely not marry or date someone that is of a darker skin, even though they are
Yeah.
interesting enough. They are also dark.
Yeah.
They would say they prefer someone that has a lighter
Light
skin.
skin, yeah.
Yes, we have persons that would even simply put it on the. It's a big deal on their checklist. They would rather be with someone that, in the end, someone with Eurocentric features, basically, so they'll be able to give birth to quote unquote beautiful
Beautiful
kids.
children,
Exactly.
yes.
So we've seen these things on an individual level. Now, interesting enough, colorism is not something just uh, something that happens with individuals. It's something that is even institutional as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it happen at the institutional level with, uh, persons with extra melanin. Yes, that's the word. Anyway, with extra melanin, uh,
Darker
yes,
shades.
exactly, that are given the short end of the stick in terms of treatment by
Mm-hmm.
institutions. Now, according to the Harvard University, a study done by the Harvard University, dark skinned blacks in the United States have a lower socioeconomic status, B, a punitive relationship with the criminal justice system, and C, a diminished prestige, and lastly, a less chance of holding an elective office. Now, that's just too much for someone that that has a
Something
skin
they have
shade
no
they
control
have no
over,
control
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Now, if you take the issue down here to Africa,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen colorism and its effects, you know, uh, pop up in the staggering number of women we've seen engaging in skin lightening. Yes, trying to, some would say, bleach.
Yeah.
And according to statistics for that as well, from the World Health Organization, 40% of African women bleach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it gets even worrying when you look at the individual numbers, uh, percentages that is by country. Now, according to the World Health Organization, 77%, we are talking about 77% of Nigerian women,
Yeah.
Nigerian, 59% of Togolese, 35% of South Africans, 27% of Senegalese, and 25% of Malians in terms of skin lightening. Now, this is very worrying. Now, just to bring in you guys, now usually when this discussion come up, you have a pushback, and the pushback is often okay, colorism shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I like what I like. It's an issue of preference. Now, I just want to bring you guys in. I mean, starting with yourself anyway. I mean, what do you think? Well, what do you have to say to persons that think that way anyway?
I think that's an issue of preference.
Yes, I mean, they say, okay, fine. You say that preferring light skin is a problem. What do I do? I mean, I can't help myself. I just like what I like. What do you say to such a person?
Well, I think preference is something everybody has. Now, I personally am not like dark. I mean, I'm a little light. But the thing is, if I'm thinking about it, am I going to necessarily blame myself because I was born that way? I feel it becomes a problem when I choose to actually engage in products that would lighten my skin so that in a way I have, like you mentioned, like I'll look a bit more Eurocentric.
Okay,
That's when
I
I
don't think you
feel
get
there's a
me.
problem.
I feel, look, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that if usually when that conversation comes up,
Mm-hmm.
someone will tell you that, look, I can't help the way I feel. I mean, I can't help it that I don't like light-skinned women. So to such a person, what do you tell them?
What do I tell such a person?
Yes.
I think it's their preference, but I wouldn't say because they prefer lighter skinned people, they should ridicule the dark shade ones.
They're not ridiculous. I'm just saying, they are saying is their
Oh
preference.
yeah, that one I cannot necessarily tell you, yo, like this one or don't like this one. I can't do that.
Okay. Like Epi said, preference is preference. And colorism is prejudice or preferential treatment to somebody who has a lighter tone.
Mm-hmm.
So a person can say, fine, I'm attracted to light skinned women,
Okay.
but won't be prejudiced against dark skinned
Yeah.
women. So I think the problem comes with if they are treating dark skinned women
In
differently
the wrong, yes.
than they are treating white skinned women.
Exactly.
But I mean, everybody will not like everybody.
If
Somebody will like somebody who's light skinned, somebody will like somebody who's dark skinned. So the problem is if it comes from a stance of prejudice.
exactly.
No, but understand something. There's this rapper that goes by the stage name Kodak Black.
Mm-hmm.
You are into music. I'm sure you've heard of that name.
Yeah.
Yes. And even though he's dark himself, in fact, the name says it black. And he says that he doesn't date women of his complexion because they are too gutter, he says. Now, to such a person, would you say that his preference is problematic? Because you see, for me, for me, I think what you want to look at when it comes to preference
Mhm.
is the fact that yes, if a person says it's okay to have a preference,
Yeah.
but if there's a consistent history of you dating a particular group, I think that's where the problem comes.
I think the reason for which you're dating is the issue because I mean, like Kodak Black, he said he's not dating women of his color because he thinks they are gata.
He didn't say
Now,
things, he said they are.
they
are.
are,
Right?
yes, to him. So now, if he already has this is prejudice over there. You understand? He's discriminating against them for a certain box he wants to put them in. But if somebody says, "Oh, I like dating fair women," or all the ladies I've dated are fair, or are light skinned, not necessarily because I think this of the
Of
darker ones
dark-skinned women.
of dark skinned women, but I just fall in love with light skinned women or I just attracted to light skinned women. I don't think we can fault them. But we can fault you if like Kodak Black, you
You
actually
give a reason
Exactly.
for liking the other color based on a prejudice.
you're actually placing them above them.
Let's go.
What do you think?
Precisely. I was actually about I was about to
Ask both of us, what do you think?
that is the
that's
thing.
what-
What
that's
would
what I
you
just-
what would
No,
you
what-
tell
what do-
somebody?
Yes, what would
No,
you
that's
tell
what I'm
somebody
saying.
like
That I mean, if someone says that
Mm-hmm.
I prefer this so and so woman or this type, fine. There's nothing wrong with preference.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the problem is usually when he says that, and you go through his history of, his dating history, and you realize that he's dated women of a particular skin tone only.
And
I think that is where his preference is discriminatory to me.
okay,
Where
but so to
I have an
you,
issue with it.
even without a reason, is discriminatory.
Even without a reason.
Yes. I mean, because you're saying if you say you don't have a problem if he just says he prefers light skinned women. But when you go through his history and it's like he's dated like 5 women and they are all light skinned, that's where you feel there's a
Exactly.
problem.
Then there's because you might not admit it. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it. You
Yeah.
might not admit it, but it's something you need to re-examine as a person, because part of solving a problem is actually recognizing it.
Okay,
I mean,
so
how do you solve something you
I
don't even
I
recognize as a
I
problem?
also have a
Right.
question. I have a question for you in this case. So now, if in this regard, someone has dated fair-skinned women, and he's not come out to pass derogatory remarks about women of darker shades, but it's just his choice. He's going for fair or lighter-skinned women, and you realize that he's had a lot of them. Are you going to try and tell that person that, okay, fine, so because you've just been following this particular parting, it means you're being like prejudiced against darker shades women? Or are you going to try and say that he should try and start looking at darker shades women or looking for them to date them? Is that where you're coming from?
First off, I don't have dating advice to give. So
No, I'm not. It's not about dating advice. No, it's just about how they see something.
Can we leave it
Because
alone?
no, because let's not forget, people are
He's looking for
attracted
the
to a lot.
easiest way out.
Yeah, he's looking for the easiest way out. People are attracted to different things.
Okay, if you say so.
Really?
It's really.
So, but but largely just to, not that I'm running away from your question, but I'll come back to it later.
Okay.
But then this conversation it's generates a lot of debates, especially with that issue. I mean, this is the question I just asked, and clearly we all don't see things the same way, because others will say, well, I mean, I'm allowed to like what I like, so why should I be forced to like something I don't want? Now, yes. Go on, mommy. You seem to have. No. Go
I
on.
was the one who
Going to
wanted to
say
say something.
something.
Mommy
The
said I
parents
should
were
wait so you
allowed.
Okay, so
finish.
if you go on.
Oh no, finish. Mommy
All right.
says you should finish.
So yes, I think, like I said, where was I? You see, happy. So these things happen, but at the end of the day, I think in trying to tackle colorism, we need to first off, like I said, I mean, the first step to recovery, they say, is admitting that you have a problem.
Yeah.
And so you can't solve something you don't even recognize. So you need to start from that, where you recognize that colorism is actually a problem
Yeah, that's true.
that needs tackling. The other issue is also having open and difficult conversations about the issue,
This issue,
like
yeah.
something we are having now. Yes, hopefully it would go on beyond just this platform.
Yeah.
You would have people pick it up and then try to generate some discussions around that, because it is something that usually some people just shelve somewhere or just sweep it under the carpet, and so would have that. And lastly, I think there's the issue of self-love. Now, this week we talked about Black Love Day, and one of the tenets was self-love.
Self love, yes.
And I think, look, in combating colorism, you realize that colorism engenders this feeling of inadequacy in a person,
Yeah.
and that's the only reason you would have people engaging in these behaviors to lighten their skin, sort of thinking that their dark skin is a flaw and they have to lighten it. And so I think preaching self-love here is very important. Yes, learning to love yourself. There's so much power in doing that, knowing that, or seeing the skin tone, the extra melanin you have as gold. I mean, it's something to behold anyway. But concerning your question, I think we'll have to skip that.
You said you come back to it. Well, I'm still going to come back to you, mommy.
Yeah. Hafiz has said a lot, and I agree with the first point he made about people accepting that they have a problem, because colorism is something that doesn't just happen abroad. It happens even here at home.
Yeah.
It happens in schools. It happens in workplaces. It happens in so many places. I mean, you go to a primary school and then they're putting up a school play, and then you see the fair colored girl is given the role of
The
Mary.
lead, yeah. Really? Okay.
So, and then let's say it happens once, it happens twice, it happens 3 times. And there's this dark skinned girl who feels like, I deserve to play that role. So then she starts to feel like my skin color is not enough. I mean, And that is the reason why most people, like Hafiz said, bleach their skin, because Lupita Nyong'o during an interview
Mm-hmm.
talked about how she felt inadequate in her skin because when she was younger, her younger sister, who was more light skinned, was referred to as beautiful.
Hmm. That's
Wow.
rough.
So that in a way will like cast a shade on her.
Yes, because if we are two sisters and you're calling my little sister beautiful, you're not calling me that. I mean,
This your narration reminds me of a lady that's on one of the platforms
Mm-hmm.
discussing the same issue. Mentioned how her mother, in training her,
Mm-hmm.
you know, did certain things that made her see her skin, appreciate her skin tone more. Now she was the only dark skinned in a family that had so many light skinned sisters.
Wow.
Yes, so she was the only dark skinned one. Now, more often than not, when they walk out there, her sisters, the light skinned one, gets the male attention and everything.
Yeah.
So she obviously felt a certain type of way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what her mother did at
Mm-hmm.
some point, in trying to build her confidence that look, you're not different, you're special in your own way. What she did was, especially when it was time for Eid or any celebration, she would buy the attire of her sisters at the same time, and then decides to leave hers for the last. And her excuse usually when she asked her was that you are special. So I'm saving the best for last. Now this was just psychological, basically to make her understand that yes, they are all light, they may all be light skinned, but you are special. There's a reason you are like that. I don't know. So
You're different.
exactly.
Yeah.
So at no point she recounted that she was ever made to feel bad about the way she looked, and it's all down to the way she was, the upbringing basically, and the way she was brought up. So I think a lot of the time is the way people are taught. It's not something that we are born with. It's the way people see some of it. Even in the movies that we see, some of us grew up to black sitcoms, and you basically would think that is the way your typical African American families would look like.
Yeah.
My wife and kids, the Cosby shows, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and all that.
Yeah.
Yes, we saw it. You think that is the typical African American. And usually, in these shows, you would have the brilliant one being the light skinned, gets all the attention. The one that acts all rugged and rough is usually the dark skinned
That
one.
very
These
yeah.
are all subliminal messages that they send to you that you don't even understand,
Yeah.
and that eventually that is something that sticks.
That's
That
true.
you think that okay, people of this skin tone behave in this way, and it's something that people would have to start recognizing.
Yeah.
Yes, that it's not something that it's not largely based on preference, but maybe just maybe consider the fact that it has been programmed in you, but that way.
Through the various things and acts that come on.
so to add to what Hafiz just said,
Mm-hmm.
this is what Lupita had to say. She said, I definitely grew up feeling uncomfortable with my skin color
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like the world around me awarded lighter skin. She said her younger sister, whose skin was lighter, was called beautiful and pretty. And then to her, self consciously, it translated into she's not worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow. So that could actually even have sent her into, could have had a mental impact on her. Yeah.
So I think first and foremost, like Hafid said, we should look inward and look deep into ourselves and think, do I do favoritism based? Do I give people preferential treatment based on their skin color? And then we can move on from there. Then, most importantly, is self love.
Yeah.
And I believe people who, I don't think people just up and then bleach their skins.
Yeah.
I think people who bleach their skins could either have seen somebody they look up to
Do it.
or they might have had an experience that informs that decision to
Very.
get a lighter skin
That's
tone.
true. Because
Because personally, I haven't ever been made to feel like my skin tone is rubbish
that's
or
true.
I am less of a human being because of my skin tone. Most of the time when I go out, people walk up to me and they're like, we like
I
your
like your
skin
skin.
tone.
Yeah.
Don't you ever think of doing anything ever to it? And I think that in as much as I do not have the thoughts of I would like to lighten my skin, that adds up to the pride
The
I
confidence.
have
Yeah.
in my skin. So I
Yeah.
think we should be encouraging, and I feel like these days, in as much as people bleach, more people are also realizing that their skin color is perfect just the way they are.
So they actually even there's some that are bracing for the bleaching, and some actually stopping to just hold on to what they have. I don't know if Hafiz has, but I noticed that thing. A lot of people have started appreciating the color they have, loving every bit of themselves,
As opposed to what?
as opposed to going out there to bleach their skin.
Yeah, well,
And
That-
even with regards to the whole dating thing we were talking about earlier, you realize that with even some men specifically going for certain shades of women, what happens is actually tends to compel these women to actually want to go out there and then, bleach so that they can be found, just like you mentioned, when they go out there, they get all the male attention. When you go for jobs, like Mama said, when you're playing, in school, the roles are all given to the beautiful ones.
And even sometimes, these you go to events and then you see girls who are shy. Then
Yeah.
almost all of them are light skin.
But that's the thing. I mean, a lot of the time, some of them will tell you that, look, I didn't want to do it, but the situation I found myself in, especially some will tell you the nature of their job.
Well,
I remember this video vixen complaining bitterly on Twitter that she was denied a role on, was it Akon or Wizkid, one of these guys, on set. She was actually kicked back that because she didn't look a certain type of way, she wasn't, she wasn't allowed on set, and she came out there to make a whole, issue about it, trying to drum up support and everything, but nobody
see,
actually
I
talked
feel
about it.
I feel one thing we can also do more is to drive home the whole self-love thing.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody, look, that's it. You see, you can only have a conversation around something when people think it's actually an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing: you have young men going out there and saying, "Look, I like what I like. I can't help it if I like people of a certain persuasion, okay? Or I want my future kids to look a certain type of way, and the only way I can do that is by selecting someone with Eurocentric features."
And we actually do have people who are
So-
naturally looking like that.
So he goes out on his checklist is a must. If you don't meet that, he cuts you off. Now the thing is, some of them when you bring that to their attention, he'll tell you. But I've dated darker skin tone girls in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's much like when you call someone a racist and he tells you I have black friends.
Yeah, I have black friends.
So does that completely invalidate the issue? No.
You see, it doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. In this case, we can't necessarily, like I mentioned, preference is preference.
Because
But if we don't
if you're
drive
talking
home
about in her
self-love,
case, she was saying that prejudice, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking she's coming from the angle that okay, so long as you are doing and not talking smack about darker skin tone girls, is that what you're saying?
oh yes.
Okay, so
trying to
but
say.
there's a way you also behave is. They say action speaks louder than words.
Okay,
So
That is
actions,
more
yeah.
talking smack about them. So
Okay,
So-
so let's say I agree with you. Let's say words. Let's say actions.
Actions.
But if a person is just dating light-skinned people and their actions or their words are not, they are not saying derogatory things to women of
It's
black
okay?
skin. Yes, I mean
Because
like I
Hafiz,
said,
if I get
Like-
Hafiz, if I get where you're coming from, it's like there's like we're supposed to
That's what
tell
I'm saying.
all
You see,
the
that's
men
what-
to go for dark-skinned women.
no, like
I'm
Is
not
that
saying
what
that.
it is?
Hafiz, everybody likes what they
Like that is it.
But if I am liking what I like, and it is, and I'm liking that separately, and I'm not disrespecting somebody else because I
if
don't
what you're
like
And
liking
you
it.
is
actually-
causing is a contributory factor to an issue, would you continue
You
to
see,
like it?
I feel that then okay, Hafiz, then what happens in this case? Are we
Because-
gonna leave those who are naturally born to be light skinned to start feeling victimized or in
no
the
one
wrong
is saying.
sense?
I'm only saying that. Look, you are allowed to like what you like,
Mm-hmm.
but take a step back and re-examine the things you like.
And so if they
That is where you
re-examine,
realize that you actually sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. That's what I'm saying. Take a step back and re-examine. But she's saying it's all well and good if you continue doing it.
for me, I feel that for every darker shade, queen out there in your life or that you have around you, you occasionally should remind them of the fact that you appreciate them for who they are, their color. There are times I come and I look at mommy, I'm like, oh, I give her accolades because I love her color, I love the way she is. You understand? If you're a guy, you don't necessarily have to go and say, you may not be attracted to light skinned women, but don't make the dark skinned ones feel like nothing because you're interested
And
in
how do you
lighter
make them
skinned
feel
ones.
about?
Appreciate them by your words of
How?
action.
Do you go about telling them?
Yeah? Of course, you have to let them know
Hafiz, see, we cannot stop people from liking what
what they like.
What
So
we
what's the
can
problem?
do is to drive home the whole self
Love
love
thing.
thing.
That is it.
Because if a woman is confident in her skin, then nobody will be
Nothing.
nothing anybody will say or do will make her feel worthless.
That is it. I wouldn't go buy
So now you
something
are
to
switching tables.
damage or change my skin tone because I want someone to
because
love
I like
me.
the guy and the guy didn't like me.
Like,
because
seriously? I mean, like, seriously?
So what we can do is to drive home the whole
Self-love
self-love
thing,
thing.
yeah.
Making dark skinned women know that your color is beautiful. You're beautiful just the way God created you.
You know the unique thing about dark shades?
What?
See, you can actually become light skinned. But if you want to become dark skinned,
Excuse me?
She's trying to say light.
You have to explain that to me. I don't understand.
She's trying to say like a lighter skin tone, you can buy it, you can get it from the hospital, but a darker skin tone you cannot get
Come
from
on, that's
anywhere
just
unless you're born with
that's
it.
just pedestrian talk. Look,
you see, that's the thing. That's why I have
But
a
it's
problem. It's not
true.
about just being pedestrian. Yes, we've said it 1,000 times, but let's add value to the things we keep saying.
okay.
If we don't keep appreciating and loving, look, if Lupita didn't actually hold on to it and push it out there, you think today she'll be who she is? Half of the time, people actually even know her or like her because of her color, not because of the fact that she's an actress or something. Most of the time, people search her because of the color. So if we do not put actions into it ourselves and want to sit and wait for people to do for us, we'll be where we are.
And to add to driving home this the whole self-love thing, I think we should start when kids are young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dark-skinned dolls. And I mean, and Lupita has a book about a young girl. I think she wrote it based off her life experience about a young girl who felt different because she was the only dark-skinned girl in her family. So we should imbibe it in little children.
Exactly.
Dolls. I mean, one time I think I posted a picture. There's a picture on an Instagram, and it was the concept was Barbie, and inside the box was a dark skinned woman with an afro.
Oh yeah, we have actually I've even done on Good News this young African American girl who's actually come out with a range of dolls, and they are all dark, and their hair is kinky, not straight hair.
I see.
You haven't seen that?
I said I see.
Not about seeing. You see,
Why are you guys ganging up on me? Okay.
We are not.
I'll talk again.
And since we're on the subject of skin, let's talk about how I mean Lupita said I keep going back. Lupita said colorism is a daughter of racism. In a sense that I mean racism is treating people differently based on their race.
Yeah.
And colorism is looking at treating people
different
differently
based on
the color of their
skin. Yeah.
And now I mean so all of these colorism thing came because of black people who have been made to feel like their skin is nothing. And then these people turn around and these days they are tanning.
Yeah.
But I think that's a different issue altogether. But hopefully we'll look at that.
Oh yeah, we will look at that.
But like she's talking about what's the name? Colorism being the daughter
Of racism.
Yes, I think more like you know, think of racism as a tree. The roots, the
run
leaves
deep.
being you know,
Colorism,
and
yeah.
everything. So it's almost like darker skin. The dark skin tone can seem to take a break. I mean, from dealing with issues of racism or dealing with discrimination outside of your race, you now have to deal with situations within
you.
your race. So
Look,
you just can't seem to catch a break as a darker skin tone person. And well, for some of us, hopefully this is the start of a very good conversation. It's Black History Month, so
it is.
yes, I'm sure
It
this
is.
conversation would ignite some sort of debate in the households because yes. I mean, it's very difficult to tackle something so many people don't even see as a problem. Even racism.
Yeah.
I mean, is the reason it's still very difficult to tackle because some don't even see it as a problem.
That's a problem, yeah. But
Yes. And so
we're glad for that there's light being shed.
anyway, but hopefully we'll get there.
Maud, final
Yeah,
words.
final words. I'd just like to say, I mean, people in high places who have dark skin should take up campaigns that teaches young girls especially to love their skin. I know Lydia Forsen does it.
Yeah,
I
she
know
does.
Beverly Naya does
Beverly,
it.
she even has a documentary, Skin.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can go
yes,
check it out
yes,
as well. Yes.
And you can check out Lupita's book as well, Sulwe, Sulwe.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hafiz. Final words or you're done. Okay, he's there.
Then they should buy dark skin dolls for their daughters.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
Because I watched a video today. Fine, I watched a video today, right? While I was looking for the poem we're going to use today, I saw a video, and then this little girl had a dark skin doll and a white skin doll. Then the person asks her, which of these dolls do you think is bad? Then she raises a dark skin doll. And the person asks her why, and she says because it's black.
Really?
Really.
Yeah,
My
I
heart
think
broke.
I feel that black is evil kind of thing too is there. Yeah.
Even the way we tax certain things. I mean, a lot of the time, when something bad happens, we say Black Wednesday, Black Friday,
Yeah,
to
black
connote
face.
the black
Those,
as
yeah,
something that is
exactly.
bad. I mean,
Exactly.
so even in the language has to be sanitized. It's something that we need to watch anyway.
We need to cleanse our whole system. What you're still listening to the Africa Daily Show. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been our discussion zone, and we looked at colorism. Don't forget you can send your thoughts also on WhatsApp +233 20 706 4680.